Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long time coming. Many years too late, in fact. But at last, it is here. Good time of day, be it morning, afternoon, and night. My name is Easy Name here. And welcome to my thoughts on Just Cause 4. So, let me establish, by the way, just as we begin this video, let me establish that this is attempt 3 to record this video. The first attempt, I just kind of tripped over my words, and I reached a point where I was just kind of rambling and thought, you know what, frick it, I'm just gonna stop this take. The second one went fine, except it was 2.5 hours long and I ran out of memory space. So I'm going to try to compress my thoughts here. So, this is Just Cause 4, and I am here to play it for a little bit and talk about my thoughts about it. So, for starters, where do I begin? So, yeah. Where do I even start? So, my attempt to make this video the other day, I finished this game yesterday, and then I made this video immediately after, but that was the 2.5 hour failed take. So, that happened yesterday, and I kind of fricked it. I kind of fricked my attempt to, make that video. Much like this game. Yeah. They kind of fricked it. So, Just Cause is a great series, but they kind of fricked it. They kind of fricked it a little bit. So it's suffice to say, not all of my opinions are positive, but not all of them are negative either. There are some things that I think this game does better than any other Just Cause game. In fact, I think there are some things this game does better than any other open world game outright. So, today we're going to hear about... What was that? Oh, that's a wingsuit stunt. The purple ones are harder because they're not tied to a location. We'll freaking get into that. So, yeah. Oh, there's also this. I suppose I'll show you this while I'm here, since it happened. So, this game, all the different weapons in this game are just like Black Hand weapons. Think Red Faction Guerrilla Weapon Sandbox. It's just a bunch of different EDF weapons. In this game, it's a bunch of different Black Hand weapons instead of different manufacturers like Just Cause 3. But there is, I believe, the Plechovka and the Vedova from Just Cause 3 make a cameo in this game as the renamed Barbaro machine gun. Like so. The only problem with that, though, is that you can't replenish these off of a supply drop, so they really just exist as a novelty. Also, if you've seen my hour-long rant video, you will notice something about this gun. Don't worry, we'll get to that too. So, anyway. So, suffice to say, this game is pretty much the epitome of mixed bag. I would say... Escarlata, would you shut up? Would you shut up, frick?
Who is this?
Your army's having some...
Who is this? Someone who won't frickin' shut
What
up.
kind of trouble?
Oh my god.
I'm sending you coordinates.
Excellent. This reminds me of back in the day, making like the Just Cause 2 use name replays through series. Way back in the day. Ooh, snuck through that. Reminds me of that, and Carl Blaine always talking because I would never freaking do the next mission. And so I would always load the game and get, okay, you get to know the factions real good, Rico. Anyway, so, before I was so rudely interrupted, by the way, for context, this game has 3 expansion packs, Danger Rising, which is down here, Los Deminos, something like that, up here, and I don't remember what the racing one is called, but the racing one over there. That was a notification, hey, go frickin' start the racing DLC, you frickin' person. Yeah. It happens a lot. Not so much that it gets annoying, I'm only pretending it's annoying, like, you know, it's funny to be annoyed by something that's not that annoying. So, interesting stuff in there. So yeah, that's just... I think that's the main antagonist of the racing DLC. I don't know. I finished the game yesterday, but only finished the vanilla game, not the expansions. I'm going to do the expansions next, so I can't speak on the expansions, by the way. Maybe they're legendary. Maybe they're crap. Who knows? Yeah, so that's that. That's just her yelling at me to go start the expansion. Great. But anyway, now that I was so rudely interrupted by her, as I was saying, so this game is the epitome of a mixed bag. I think this is, if you look up mixed bag or mixed, I think this game richly deserves the mixed rating on Steam, in fact. And I decided to go through there because I felt like it. Let's go north to the other base and see what happens. Actually, we'll... I don't know. And I'm just thinking of where to go. Meanwhile, anyway, so yeah, this game is mixed and it richly deserves the mixed reputation, because I will say there are some things this game does really well that I like. There are some things about this game that I like. There are some things about this game that I don't like. There are some things about this game that I really like. There are some things about this game that I really hate. And I'm going to talk about all of them today, hopefully within the span of like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, but I'd be pushing it in that case. So to start things off, let's go for the first thing. To start things off, the first thing I want to start things off with is, the problem is, the thing that made me screw it up in the last attempt to make this video yesterday is because they're all connected in different ways. Like, for example, I know, well, you know, let's freaking jump right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is the heat level and how that's been reworked. So on the top right, you will see that I'm in view of the authorities because these guys are Black Hand. That has not changed the way from Just Cause 3. Now they're searching, but now I have heat. But the only problem that I have with that... Okay, this is mine now, I guess. Sorry. People are a bit mad. Yep, here's someone. Anyway, so the first thing I want to talk about is heat. So there are multiple heat levels, like Just Cause 3. Someone just spawned over there, you can see. There are multiple heat levels like Just Cause 3, but they're not represented on your UI. And I don't really like that much. Wow, I just missed those shots, great. No, it's fine. I gotta make sure I conserve ammunition. Oh, I got him, right. Gotta make sure I conserve ammunition for this weapon, because I can't replenish this weapon off of enemies, because there are no enemies that use this gun. It's an automatic shotgun, by the way. And the only way I can get more ammo for it is by calling it in through here. We'll talk about that too. So the first thing... Okay, thanks. I pressed the F key. I missed that shot completely. I pressed the F key, and it was late a little bit. So the first thing I want to talk about... I will try to get through my thoughts as fast and as well as possible. The first thing I want to talk about, as you can see... okay, now my heat's a little bit higher because a warrior off-roader has respawned. Okay. I'm going to try to get some melee going, or some grapple going. Save some ammunition for my shotgun. So as stated, it's happening again. I'm freaking repeating myself. I gotta stop that. Anyway, so once again, the heat level. There is still a heat level. There are still multiple levels of heat. But the thing with that is that they aren't represented on your UI. There is a heat 1, a heat 2, a heat 3, heat 4, etc., heat 5, etc. Oh, there's a tank and a helicopter, huh? Now we're getting a little bit funny. Can I get this, please? Thanks. Nice. Can't do that anymore. Anyway, here's the tank. Yeah, this game has tanks now. Oh, that's the freaking crappy drone, isn't it? Yep, of course it is. Frick you. There's another tank. Oh, you will notice my tank's at low health already. That's a little bit silly, huh? Talk about that in a second, please. I'm stuck. I don't know if I got the APC there. Oh, bad shot, bad shot. Okay, there we go. That's done. Anyway, so that's all represented on the minimap. That's all not represented on the UI. That's a con. But one thing that I do like... Whoa, jeez, frick. This guy wanted to give me a buzz. Another... Okay, where's the... Oh. Over here. This is mine now. Look, it's an anti-air tank, by the way. That's cool. That's something I like about this game. Look at this thing we got. And there's another tank. And a planer. Maybe that was a jet, actually. Oh, yeah, that was a jet. There, yeah, that was that thing. I just got bombed by something. Cool. Don't know what that was. Probably another jet, maybe. In fact, yeah, it was that thing. Got it. Nice. Just been hit. Oh, by that. Oh, dear. So, you may notice... Where's the helicopter shooting at me? There we go. You may notice... Hey, my vehicle's at low health already. And, something that I will tell you about this game right now, as we explore the heat level, is that this game reeks of... It definitely had a different, like, director or some crap. And it reeks of... We thought Just Cause 3 was too easy, so we made it harder. So we tried to make it more challenging, but instead just made it tedious and annoying. Oh, I got that shot. Maybe? Nope, forgot. Another helicopter right here somewhere. Yep. That was a Bloodhound Siege helicopter, nice. You know, more tanks. If I take one more hit, the vehicle's gone. So, let's see. At the risk of, sorry, I feel like there's, Sometimes I feel like it's a tiny bit difficult to organize my thoughts while also focusing on being in this fight. Being in these fights with heat. That's a better Falconer. I don't want that one. I'm gonna get a better Falconer now. So yeah, pro of the heat level that you're seeing is that it spawns tanks and jets and crap. I think that's pretty cool, actually. I think it's definitely a step up from Just Cause 3. I mean, oh, hey, my Falconer's dead already. I don't know if you caught that, but the icon was red, so it's gone now. So that's good. Can I get in here, please? Thanks. Nope, guess not. Oh, I'm gonna die, aren't I? That'd be disappointing if I just died immediately. Like, so soon into the video. Cool. Anyway. So, some people have said the heat level is now hard. That's not necessarily the case. It's just tedious a little bit. Can I get this now, please, and thank you? Yep, good. So, here's a Warchief Assault Tank. It's the strongest vehicle in the game. Or at least you would think, but it's actually the Falconer. There's the helicopters up there. Okay. Okay. So, attempting to organize my thoughts. So, the pros and cons of the heat level that I'm currently demonstrating right here while having it. The cons is that it's no longer represented on the UI what heat level you actually have. I think that's a big con. I think that's kind of silly, actually. But the pros, you may notice, is that it can get pretty chaotic and silly. And that is something I like. Something this heat level, something this does. Whoops. Okay, I missed that guy then, I guess. Like, look at this immediate just tank battle I'm in. Like, that's fun. I like that. I don't like the fact that, as you're seeing, the vehicles are not very durable at all. That's friendly, actually. So. Sorry, just gotta make sure. This is gonna be one of those videos. So. The cons of the heat level is the fact that it's not represented on your UI. The pros, though, is that it's reworked from Just Cause 3, as you can see, to be a little bit more chaotic and silly and spawn all different kinds of different weapons, and, well, not weapons, spawn all kinds of different vehicles and crap to make it more hectic. It's not necessarily strictly difficult. A lot of people say it's difficult, and I can see where they're coming from. But more accurately, it's just kind of like a little bit tedious. Because the problem is, as you saw from that, a lot of vehicles aren't very durable at all. And that's one problem, because this game reeks of, we thought Just Cause 3 was too easy. And one of the ways they tried to make it harder was, as you saw there, I drove most of the different types of vehicles, types of tanks, that is, in the game. And that Bloodhound survived that. Nice. Neat. That's something else that happens. If you get in a helicopter and then get out to destroy it, sometimes it just doesn't happen. Sometimes it just survives the fall, which is interesting. Probably wanted to make it harder then. Probably wanted to make it impossible for the player to just get in and out of vehicles in order to destroy them. Oh, I lost my heat. Nice. Lovely. Bloodhound still here? Hey, free Bloodhound, I guess. This is my favorite helicopter in the game, can you tell? Anyway. Ooh, it's even at full open ammunition? Oh, that could have been bad. So, yeah. So that was the heat level. That was my Discord. So that was the heat level. And the pros and cons of that is that cons, it's not represented on the UI how much heat you actually have. I think that's a little silly. Cons? Another con is the fact that it's actually a little bit unforgiving in the sense that if you're trying to escape it, it's very hard to escape it in a vehicle. Like you saw there, I escaped it because I was in a wingsuit. It's pathetically easy to escape it in a wingsuit. But the thing is, I think what happens is that the sight radius from which enemies can see you is increased when you're in a vehicle. But it's decreased, when you're on foot. And what that means is that heat is, it's fun and fine to fight in, and it's easy to escape whenever you want, just wingsuit away. As you can see, I escaped without even trying to escape. But if you're in a vehicle, it becomes impossible to escape. This is not, oh, I'm just bad and haven't figured it out. No, it is physically impossible to escape. As you've seen, like right there, the enemy jets that can spawn, they are just outright faster than you, and they can spawn in front of you a lot. So if you're in an aircraft and there are if you're in any type of vehicle and there are jets spawning, then you'll also notice that that's a Thunderhead bomber jet that just did a bombing run. They can do that now. So heat is extremely easy to escape if you're in. I want to go somewhere. I want to fly this somewhere. Let's go to the airport. The airport's a fun place to be. It just looks cool. There's also a lot of stuff I can explain while I'm over there. Anyway. So, the heat level. We're starting with the heat level right there. You've seen the heat level now. You've seen a little bit of the heat level now. And the thing with the heat level is that it's easy to escape on foot because I think the sight radius is increased when you're in a vehicle and lowered when you're on foot. I've in fact had cases where I escape heat and I'm immediately in view of the authorities because I believe that they can see you from further when you don't have heat. They can see you from shorter distances when you don't have heat. I believe. Longer distances when you don't have heat, by the way. By the way, a Law Enforcement Chronicles thing. If you want to get this helicopter whenever you want for completely free, then here you go. Spawns right here on the map. In fact, this is where you start the game. And it turns out the Bloodhound shows up here, and you can get it for free whenever you want. There are some people over there there are some Black Hand people over there that might, you know, see you. But from my experience, you can just shoot them, escape your heat, and come back, and the helicopter will still be there. So, but they won't respawn. So yeah, random tangent. If you ever want a Bloodhound Siege helicopter, it's right there. And that makes me very happy because this is genuinely like one of my favorite vehicles in the entire Just Cause series. Because I like all things Soviet, and this, as you can clearly tell, is a cross between a Hind and a K-52 Black Shark. So, it's fun. Anyway, so yeah, that's the heat level. If there are enemy jet spawning and you want to escape with a vehicle, basically impossible. In fact, the only way I've seen to escape heat when you're in a helicopter is you physically can't if there's jets. But if there's no jets, then you still physically can't because the opposing helicopters can see you from an increased radius, and they spawn very close as well. But I've noticed that in order to escape, you would have to do this. You would have to hold the ascend button, the left or right button, and the back button in order to reach a much higher top speed than a helicopter can usually go, around 330 kilometers per hour in my case. So if you want to escape heat in a helicopter, you essentially have to do this because you are just outright not fast enough otherwise. The same is true for vehicles. I've noticed well, kinda. I don't know. I feel like it's finicky. I've had cases where it's impossible to escape heat in vehicles, and other cases where I escape heat in like a slow tank without trying. So I don't know. It seems a little bit. The heat level's a little bit finicky. That's the overall con of the heat level. I would say it's a bit finicky. But the thing that I like about it, and this is the thing that I mentioned earlier, and I remembered to break up the recording. The thing that I mentioned earlier, though, that I think this game does better than any Just Cause game, and in fact does better than any open world game outright, is that, as you saw during that heat level, it spawns a whole bunch of stuff that come after you very quickly, like jets and tanks and crap, and whatnot. But it also spawns army, that was my Discord, it also spawns Army of Chaos units, my Discord. And think about it for a second. The heat level in any game, just as a meta thing, still my Discord, frick, the heat level in any game, from meta sense, is meant to be an obstacle in the same vein as an enemy or something. It's meant to be an obstacle to the player, it's meant to be a nuisance, it's meant to be something that they have to deal with, you know. If your mission is to steal a car, okay, it would be too easy. Now you have the realistic representation of an aspect of civilization, the authorities, and the crime prevention or the justice agencies. Still my Discord, frick, someone really wants to talk to me. So, yeah, there's that. That's how that mechanic works. But in this game, the simple idea and addition of Army of Chaos units that spawn during heat, and they spawn as a direct result of the heat level as well, I should mention. There were like a bunch of helicopters around there. Not nearly as many as the Black Hand, obviously, but throwing in a couple of jets and helicopters on the Army of Chaos' side, and maybe a ground vehicle here and there, I think, but those might spawn just in traffic in general. Throwing that in there is actually brilliant, because it turns the heat level from something that's an inconvenient nuisance to something that's honestly more in a similar vein to a cheat, more of a game state. The Sky Castle cargo jet right there, yeah. Haven't seen that there every single time. But yeah, if you want a Black Hand Sky Castle, it's right there. Also, if you want a Black Hand, I should just do a freaking Law Enforcement Chronicles on this game, honestly. So yeah. So that, I think, is actually pretty freaking brilliant. Here's the airport, by the way. We're at the airport. It's a cool place to be because it spawns a whole bunch of Black Hand vehicles. Something just exploded over there. Say goodbye to the Bloodhound, unfortunately. Well, as stated before, there is a spawn point for it out there if I ever want one, which if I ever just want one, which is nice, and I don't have to capture it from heat. It is really annoying. This is more of a me thing and less of a this game thing, but it is really annoying. I maintain that there are no garage systems in modern open world games Because that means that if I want some kind of a vehicle, I can't just get it once and then store it, and I have it now. I've earned it by getting it once. I have to get it every single time I want one. And that's freaking stupid. That's annoying. But anyway, the heat level, yeah. So, the heat, as you can see from, like, over there and wherever, and I think over there as well, Army of Chaos forces spawn all the time, and they engage with the Black Hand all the time. You know, that's normal for the thing. I don't want to do that. Where's that? Over there. They want me to fly that plane to somewhere. Yeah, they could do that, but they do that around. That's like all the different Just Cause games. But adding Army of Chaos forces that spawn as a direct result of the heat level is actually a brilliant idea. Because, as I mentioned, it turns the heat level into more of like a cheat, a game state, a cheat that you can engage with as an activity. You know, one of the reasons why the open world genre got so popular in the first place is because people playing like GTA 1 and GTA 2 were neglecting to play through the actual game and were instead getting a heat level and fighting the police and running away from the police because they thought that was fun. And I think realizing that that's what heat should be to the player rather than freaking Watch Dogs 2, it's a nuisance. You're basically screwed if you're basically, you know, screwed. There's some open world games where the heat is turned up so high that it's essentially like, if you have heat 5, you're just dead. There's no escaping it. It's just like, it's impossible to escape. It's like an immense, difficult challenge to escape it. And for like 99% of players, you're just like, as soon as you get heat 5, you're just dead. Like, you are just actually dead at that moment. It's just a matter of when. So, but, yeah, realizing that about open world games, I think that's a brilliant idea. I think that's a brilliant idea to turn the heat level into more, because it makes it less of a nuisance thing that you have to deal with, and more of a chaotic game state. As I've said like 3 times, it's freaking happening again. I'm going to be here for like 3 hours. It does all that, and it means that it's more of a battles happening around you sort of thing. Instead of just having a heat level and thinking like, oh, now the entire military force is on me and I'm being attacked by a small army or whatever and I have to deal with that. Instead, it's more of, oh, the area around me is now erupting into chaos and warfare and I can choose to participate in it or I can choose not to participate in it. Because you can fight directly, as you saw. You can just like jump in a tank and shoot a whole bunch of other stuff. You can jump in a helicopter, all kinds of things. Or you can just wingsuit away whenever you don't feel like doing it anymore. Like it says easy, just wingsuit away whenever you don't feel like doing it anymore. And I think that's really brilliant. I think that's a great idea. And that is one thing that I will give this game. If I could say one great thing about this game, you know, why you should buy this game. And as for whether you should buy this game, I don't know, we'll get to that. But if there's one reason that is a pro that would make me support giving this game a go, it's because of how it handles the heat system. The fact that it spawns friendlies as well as enemies is actually a genius idea. A genius, innovative idea that makes heat levels really fun. And as you saw over there, they aren't necessarily hard. Like, I did get blown off the tank, but that's like just because I was in the tank at the wrong time. There's probably like 7 other tanks covering him. But that's you know, that just happened. That's not the heat level's fault. That doesn't mean it's hard. That just means I was being stupid. So, yeah, you saw over there. It's pretty easy. It's pretty fun to fight, kind of. And it's also, you can just leave it whenever you want. And that's great. That's amazing. So that's the heat level. But you will notice, now we'll get into what was going on over there with the tanks and the vehicles that you've seen. This game, as stated before, reeks of, we thought Just Cause 3 was too easy, so I don't even know where they got that from. I've never heard anyone say Just Cause 3 was too easy. But yeah, it reeks of, we thought Just Cause 3 was too easy. We wanted Just Cause 4 to be more challenging. And, you know, we want it to be a step up, a greater challenge for people coming from Just Cause 3. And there are many different things that you can tell that show and signify that design mentality. The first one, the big one, is the fact that the Black Hand are the villains now. There's no Solis military. There's no Solis government or anything. I mean, there was a government. But there is no Solis military. Instead, the Black Hand is now the main villain. And that is one example of wanting to make the game challenging, to just, like, combine everything about the Black Hand in Just Cause 3 and Just Cause 1 and put them all together and make it challenging. There's also the fact there's the whole weather thing. They thought, oh yeah, the wingsuiting stuff in Just Cause 3 was fun. How do we innovate on it? How do we improve on it? How do we add wind currents and like tornadoes and weather effects and stuff? And they can help or hinder you. That's great. By the way, that's a good idea. The whole thing of the game being more challenging, if done well, is perfectly fine. I think having weather effects as something to complement the wingsuit as either a challenge at worst, a help at best, or a consideration at middle, I think that's perfectly fine. I liked the weather idea. I don't think it was executed in the best way, but I think it's a good idea. So there's that. One other thing that makes this game challenging, though, is the enemy design. And that is where we get into something that I do not like about this game at all. Also the vehicles. I should mention that as well, the vehicles. So, the vehicles, as you saw earlier, there are five different kinds of vehicles that have cannons. 4 of them are tanks. I will show them off now. And I think I drove every one of them at least once. Maybe not the prize fighter tank, but I drove a couple of them at least once earlier. So there's the Point Man Scout tank, which has a single gun. In fact, I can frickin'... You know what? Frick, I'm just gonna go to the tank factory where they all spawn. Hang on. There's a tank factory in this game, and it's right here. Prospero Tanques. This factory was commandeered by the Black Hand to increase production. Half the factory manufactures trucks and artillery. I've already been here for about a half hour. I feel like I've just barely gotten started explaining everything I want to talk about. well, frick. Also, there's the loading screen. There's Garland. We're going to talk about her as well in a bit. Sorry, I had a bottle of water. Welcome to Prospero Tanques. For anyone in here who speaks Spanish, I'm so sorry for that butcher pronunciation. Anyway, so this is the tank factory. Let's talk a little bit about the tanks, because you saw, as I used them all, they kind of died a little bit quicker than you would think. Because, I don't know why or how, but they kind of just... I guess they thought that the tanks in Just Cause 3 were too strong, and then they nerfed them. They nerfed vehicles into the ground in this game. It's incredible. Vehicles are now freaking garbage. So, let's see. So to start with, this is the Point Man Scout tank in Army of Chaos colors. Before I can get to that, this is the Point Man Scout tank. It has Army of Chaos colors. It's very small, decently speedy as well. Can I borrow this, please? Thanks. Oop. Very speedy. At least I think it's speedy. Yeah, I got a decent amount of agility. Got a main cannon. Like so.
Stretch my legs.
Yep. So that's the basic Point Man Scout tank. That's the first type of tank. Then over here is the prize fighter tank. It's the most common type of tank. You see it on the front lines. We'll get into that as well. And this one, also a cannon and a machine gun. Like that. Standard machine gun. Standard prize fighter tank cannon. And then, at the top of the food chain, you would think at least, is the wart... Now I'm going to go over here, actually. I'm going to go over here. Because this is where they can all spawn, is over here. In this frontal part of the base. Wow, game's chugging a bit. I'm so sorry if you're being a little nauseated. I'm so sorry, that's my fault. Anyway, here's the War Chief Assault Tank in both Black Hand and Army of Chaos colors. Thankfully, they can still spawn here in Black Hand colors. I love that. Here's the War Chief Assault Tank. It is a, as you can tell, very fat, large, huge main battle tank.
That's more like it.
That's more like it, yep. I do like this tank, Rico. I do agree. I do like this tank. It looks really nice. In fact, freaking, yeah, look at it. Look at it. Look at it. And then finally, you have the Falconer AA tank right over here, which is conceptually like, what if we put a Capstone FH-155 on wheels on treads? And this thing's gun is different. Because the kicker is... Hold on to your horses. There are 4 different types of tanks in this game. You can see them all on your screen now in Army of Chaos colors. The Point Man Scout tank, the Prize Fighter tank, the War Chief Assault tank, and the Falconer AA tank that I have. But, you see, here's the problem. They don't perform any different. They all conform to a 3 strikes rule, in that they will all be killed in 3 shots by any explosives, or will kill other vehicles in 3 shots. So this big fat War Chief Assault tank, it will get killed in 3 shots by the Falconer AA tank. You see the Point Man Scout tank? That will get killed and kill the War Chief Assault tank in 3 shots. In fact, I will demonstrate right now. So here's what visually looks like the weakest tank in the game versus what visually looks like the strongest tank in the game, the War Chief Assault tank. 1, 2, 3, and it's blown up. Now if I reverse this, use a War Chief Assault tank. 1, 2, 3, and it's blown up. What about the Falconer AA tank? Certainly that one must be different because the gun looks different. You saw me shoot down a jet earlier with it, right? Let's see. War Chief, let's go with, I'm gonna just go with that. So, War Chief assault tank from the anti-air flak fire of the Falconer AA tank. 1, 2, 3. And then back to the War Chief assault tank. Please. We have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so you saw it on display earlier while I was actually fighting a tank battle. They nerfed the vehicles in this game into the ground. None of them have any durability anymore. I mean, that's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's handy that you only need to shoot enemy tanks 3 times with your tank in order to kill them, I guess. But the fact that if you get shot like twice, then you're at the low health warning, and if you get hit a 3rd time, your vehicle gets the red going to explode warning and you have to leave it. That's a little bit silly. Also, I think the same thing happens for helicopters. I've noticed that helicopters can be very not that durable either. To be fair though, give the game some merit. These essentially the Point Man Scout tank is just worthless and no reason for it to be in the game. Prize Fighter tank, worthless, no reason for it to be in the game. They could have stuck with the War Chief assault tank and the Falconer AA tank. But to the game's credit with the helicopters, they aren't very durable at all either. But at least for them, the Firebrand Scout Chopper has a machine gun, the Spectre Attack Helicopter has missiles only, and the Bloodhound Siege Helicopter has missiles and a machine gun. So, at the very least, they are all different in that regard. But the tanks, mixed, ladies and gentlemen. Pros and cons, the tanks, there's 4 different kinds of tanks. That's really cool. And they actually have treads now, unlike the previous entries in the series where they were actually just wheeled armored vehicles and were called tanks for some reason. So yeah, that's a pro. 4 different kinds of tanks. That seems cool. But they all perform exactly the same, and essentially the Falconer is the best one because it has the best damage application. Because, as in, like, you know, the tank shells and the Falconer AA tanks, flak shells, do the same damage, but the flak shells with the better projectile velocity and the splash damage mean that the Falconer has better damage application and a higher fire rate. That essentially means that the Falconer AA tank is the best vehicle in the game. It's just essentially the best, in terms of performance, just the best vehicle in the game. The other tanks are just, like, worthless. They're not as good. And that's terrible. That's a con. Gosh frickin' dang it. How do you screw it up that bad? This is just cause. This is just cause. The vehicles are supposed to be some of the most fun parts. What the frick? How did you do this? That was my Discord. Yeah, okay, so that's the vehicles. And, let's talk about enemies now, because that's another example of this game, my Discord. That's another example. Let me check my time as well. Okay, getting there. I'm at like 30, 40 minutes. I should try to be as quick as possible. So, the enemies. Let's talk about the enemies and the weapons together, because they both tie into each other. In fact, I will show you right now by getting some more heat just outside. In fact, let me bring one of the tanks along, because I think it'll make my heat higher. Because I think this game knows and is balanced in the sense that you get heat pretty fast sometimes.
Nice,
As
great.
in, if you just blow up like a random car with a tank, I think they will just jump right to tanks will spawn to counter you. If you're in a jet, enemy jets will spawn. Once again, this game reeks... Oh, perfect. This is a side mission where I have to escape in a car with heat. So that's nice. So yeah, this game really does reek of, we thought Just Cause 3 was too easy.
Calling for this long
And that's
one
one
shot
way
of a
that
high-speed
happens.
pursuit.
The fact that the heat
Can you
level...
drive?
In fact, I'll show you right now.
Okay, cool.
Alright, I have
Called you
normal
into
heat.
the Black Hand.
Here comes
They're
a
on
bike.
the way. Just, you know,
Oh no, I
lose
failed
them.
because I left. Okay, so I
You're all
believe
insane.
Heat 1
You know
is
that?
essentially just like people on bikes in the buggies. Oh, that guy just screwed their friend. Oh, a helicopter did decide. Oh, that's a friendly helicopter, actually. Okay. Yeah, so a friendly helicopter showed up to help me. Nice. Excellent. I don't know if that guy spawned because of the heat level, but either way, that is cool. It is. I think that's a brilliant idea that they do that. That is one thing that I'll give this game over other games. I like how my searching is flashing for some reason. Now let's see what happens when I jump in a tank. I have Heat 1. I've now jumped in a tank. Let's see what happens. Do they remain at Heat 1 with just like buggies and crap? Or will enemy tanks now spawn and blow me up? Let's find out. Yep, enemy tanks. Yep, enemy tank. Skipped right to the tanks. Oh! That's probably a glitch that vehicles do that, and I'm happy they kept it in the game. The Falconer and the Pointman both do that. When you shoot them, they go flying like that. I think that's funny, and I am glad they kept that glitch in the game. But yeah, as you've seen, we jumped right to the enemy tank level. I do have a lot of air cover though, which is nice. Oh frick, right, but the guy over there in that tunnel. Let's go in that tunnel. Oh, hold on, let's blow up these guys first. Hey, who the frick? Hey, who's that? Go away. That's it sounded like yeah, is there a helicopter? That was weird. Who shot that? That's enemy tank. Yeah, that was the Pointman scout tank. That was 2 hits, but it must have already been damaged. Anyway. I will say, in terms of how these are different, the War Chief is definitely slower, and the War Chief is definitely slower and more cumbersome, while the Pointman is faster. So, I mean, I guess there is that. But, like, technically, no. Also, I did this to show off the weapon sandbox. Let's see. So, this guy is a smart rifle. I will show you, like so. Let's show you the weapons. Now we're going to talk about the weapon sandbox and the enemy design for a while. So these are all the weapons in the game. Why does it say that's equipped? Oh, because that's what this guy's set to drop. Okay, so these are all the basic black hand weapons in the game. Whoops. These are all the basic black hand weapons in the game. These are some advanced ones. So the basic enemies have the smart rifle, submachine gun, shotgun, and assault rifle. These ones are not used. This one, which I'm currently using, this one, and this one are not used by the enemies. This one has a special enemy type that uses that, and this one obviously is the sniper rifle. So, I'm now going to show you how the weapon sandbox essentially works by equipping the basic assault rifle. If I could find one, that is, that'd be great. Yeah, that's a smart rifle. That's a smart rifle again, right there. That person has a smart rifle. That's a smart rifle again. This is what I'm talking about. So, essentially, one of the ways they tried to make this game, quote, challenging is, yeah, the friggin' other smart rifle. I can't even find the assault rifle. You see the problem here, guys? One of the ways they tried to make the game challenging was they made ammo extremely scarce. Do you have the basic assault rifle? No, you have the smart rifle. Okay, good. So this is what I'm saying. Essentially, what I'm saying is that the weapon sandbox is now reminiscent of Red Faction Guerrilla. For comparison, Just Cause 3, if you wanted to use any sort of the assault class primary weapons like the Predator, the Vidova, or the Misfortune, I know the Misfortune is a popular choice. If you want to use any of those, ammo for them is plentiful. You can replenish them off of any enemy that has an assault rifle of any kind, of which pretty much all of them do. Most of them do, unless you're fighting in towns against the DRM, in which case submachine guns all the way. So ammo is plentiful, but this game is different because this game, you can only replenish weapons off of that type of weapon. So this shotgun that I have, if I encounter someone with the basic kind of shotgun, which I hopefully will here in a second. Hey, do one of you guys have the ow. No, that's a smart rifle. They both have smart rifles. What the frick? Stop being rude to me. Can I reload, please? Thank you. There's a tank over there. Hey, can I borrow this? Or at least... Nope. 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 The gun barrels have, collision now. Agreed. Another submachine gun. Okay. This is kind of what I mean. So, yeah, so they all have smart rifles. I can't find a freaking assault rifle for my life. But the point I'm trying to get at is that ammo in Just Cause 3 is plentiful. Ammo in this game is incredibly scarce. You know what? Frick it. I'll just call it. Yeah, I'll just call it in. Frick it. Perfect. Nice. Yeah, give me the basic assault. Give me the basic assault rifle, please. That guy just got annihilated. Still smart rifles. Still smart rifles. Still smart rifles and a submachine gun. That's a smart rifle. That guy's gonna get blown up. All smart rifles. Freaking wait, it's all smart rifles? Always has been. Okay, I finally have the assault rifle, and I don't have full ammo for it. The ammo capacity on the bottom left is 45 magazine capacity, 136 rounds in reserve. Tank just spawned. I want to make sure I can jump in it, stay on top of that, so I don't get blown up, because that's a smart thing to do. Here's the tank. I missed it. I need to borrow this, thanks.
Oh, look.
Alright. Oh, now they have assault rifles, I think. So... Anyway, so that's how that works. And 45 magazine capacity with 136 reserve rounds is just over 3 full magazines, which is very low. Which would be fine, because Red Faction Guerrilla does it like that with the EDF Assault Rifle, which is in fact the best weapon in the game. But the way it's balanced for Red Faction Guerrilla is that everyone uses an Assault Rifle as well, so ammo for that is also plentiful in the early game. And by the time you get to the mid-game and the late game, new weapons get introduced into the sandbox, but by then you have the experience. Most likely you have the experience to know how to conserve your ammo or replenish it, and also the Assault Rifle never fully goes away, which is nice. It's balanced because even though it's the best weapon in the game, and the ammo's low for it, the ammo for it to replenish is pretty decently plentiful in the early game. It only gets a little bit less common, but by that time you can also, like, alternate it with the Gauss Rifle. But in this game, as you've seen, from like 7 enemies in a row, you also see what I just did there. From like 7 enemies in a row using the Smart Rifle, ammo for any given weapon is not very plentiful. Something else that this game does that's worse than Just Cause 3 that I don't like is, as you can see what I just did, it pushes headshots a lot. I didn't do that because I wanted to. I did that because that's kind of what you're supposed to do. So, for context, in Just Cause 3, basic Medicean grunts, they will die in 2 body hits. Just about they will die in 2 body hits to any assault rifle. 1 if it's a headshot. And for comparison, like, let's say the Plechovka. I believe the Plechovka and the Predator essentially will kill basic Medicean grunts in 2 hits. So that means ammo is not only plentiful, but it's also very ammo efficient to fight enemies. But in this game, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 shots. Ooh, what the frick? I've been slightly nudged. So now the basic grunts, like this guy. Oh. Want to see a magic trick? Well, bam, he's gone. He disappeared. He survived that? Okay, you know what? You deserve to live now. You just go over there and go home because you obviously are too powerful. So yeah, this game does this weird thing where it wants to push headshots a lot because ammo is now extremely low and extremely scarce. In this particular case, this is the basic assault rifle. And it takes 5 shots to kill basic enemies now. And those are just the basic enemies it takes 5 shots. Plus, they very seldom use the gun you want. In this case, I'm getting 47 smart rifles. If I wanted to use, say, the basic shotgun that they can use, I haven't even seen one yet. I've seen a couple submachine guns, but not a lot. And I've just been getting showered with smart rifles. Speaking of which, you may be wondering something else as well while we're talking about this. Hang on, before I leave the headshots thing, I should also mention the gimmick enemy types. Something else that I don't like about this game is that there's gimmick enemy types. I remembered to break up the recording. So, they don't spawn during the heat level, which is nice. But something else about this game that you can tell, you know, they wanted to make it, quote, challenging. And they didn't make it challenging, they made it tedious and annoying. Because the problem is, they added a whole bunch of enemy types that were gimmicky. There's no 2 ways around it. They're gimmicky. In Just Cause 3, all the different enemy types share one thing in common. If you shoot them enough, they die. It's as simple as that. But in Just Cause 4, there are now enemy types that you have to execute special strategies in order to get rid of. You know, the sort of thing you would see in, like, I don't know, a freaking God of War game. And, I've never actually played a God of War game. But yeah, something like that. Like, you know, this enemy... You know, this enemy can only be killed by melee or whatever, that kind of crap. Because this game, for example, there's an enemy that uses a riot shield that covers their entire body and means they can't be damaged unless you shoot through the small slit around their head. So you pseudo have to headshot them in order to kill them. But then, there's an enemy in the game, this is not a joke, that is wearing body armor made of the same armor that shield has, and they are impervious to small arms fire, but their head is vulnerable because they're not wearing a helmet. There is, let me repeat this, an enemy that can only be damaged by headshots. Yeah, so that's a thing. Oh, almost got bowled over by that buggy, that could be bad. Anyway, let's see. Also, you like the flamboyant sound effect as well of freaking shooting people in the head? Another thing that convinces me that they wanted this game has this weird thing where they just like wanted to MLG, like push MLG headshots. It's weird. All the enemies are gimmicky. There's even a turret where you have to pull off panels of it and then shoot at the wiring inside in order to destroy it. And that means there's one panel on the front and one panel on the back. So that means there's this situation of we have to get around back of an enemy in order to kill them. And that doesn't really seem like the kind of thing that belongs in a Just Cause game. Also, something that's a bit strange and weird about this game is that there's no grenades. Instead, the grenade button is now used to use every weapon's alternate fire. For example, the basic assault rifle has a grenade launcher. Like so. Nice. Which is a bit strange. The smart rifle, you may be wondering, that's what I got into, but I started with that first. Is that the smart rifle, it's kind of your standard DMR marksman rifle, like that. Got that guy. But something else it can do if I hold the alternate fire button. I think there might be a tank right here that I have to worry about. Yes, there is. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of this. Oh, I actually escaped my heat. Okay. Nice. Alright, frick. Anyway. I don't know if I'll get heat just from doing it. You may be wondering why it's called the smart rifle. It's because it can do this. It locks onto enemies. Like that. So now you have a bunch of different weapons that have gimmicks, essentially. You have weapons and enemies that have gimmicks. All the weapons are not very plentiful at all. Like, here's a smart rifle, though. I can get that. That guy just got destroyed. That girl maybe got destroyed because, yeah, the Black Hand have girls in their arsenal now. You know what? That's cool. That's something I like. That's something I think is cool. Having mixed gender enemies, just fine. No problem there. I like it. Wait. Nice. Who's shooting me? Oh, you. You know, smart rifle's not actually that bad, but I prefer the assault rifle. For the, well, it's an assault rifle. It's always good. So, yeah. That is one thing I like. But, one thing I don't like is, as stated as I'm explaining, the gimmicky stuff. The thing is, let's think about it for a second. How is Red Faction, Guerrilla, and Just Cause 3 balanced? There's enemies that have progressively more health and do more damage, but it's outright just that. It's very simple. Some of the weapons have different unique gimmicks to them, like the Enforcer has a semi-lock-on, but actually, in practice, makes it a little worse. The Gauss Rifle is slightly explosive and destructive. But those things, the thing is, I don't think those things necessarily feel gimmicky, because those are available to the player. It's not a gimmick, it's just what the gun that they're using does. That's all. But in this game, the reason it does feel gimmicky is because it's about, as stated before, like, armor and just special things that they do. Like, for example, you know, as stated before, the enemy that wears the armor and they can't be killed by small arms fire unless you shoot them in the head. That feels gimmicky because the player does not also have access to that. So, yeah, you got gimmicky enemy types, you got the weapon sandbox, which is kind of a little bit silly. I wonder if I'm going to escape the heat again, actually. Oh, I did. Nice. Anyway. Oh, here comes someone on a bike. Oh! Oh! Frick! That was my Discord. So, hey, ma'am, you good? You okay? Don't worry. I understand your confusion. I understand your anger against this person in this warrior off-roader. I thought they were gonna run me over again for a second. Alright. Yeah, this person's not very good at driving. And they're dead. Here's the Pletrovka, by the way. SW2 Rodolero rifle. Yeah, says that. Pletrovka cameo. Anyway. So yeah, this game, I feel like I'm forgetting something. No, that's really it. That's my time. I'm actually approaching an hour now. But yeah, no, that's really it. In terms of the weapons and balance and stuff, there are gimmicky enemy types. And there are gimmicky enemies, and all the weapons are gimmicky, and everything's just kind of gimmicky. And it's weird. And they removed grenades as well. There are no grenades, but the basic assault rifle has a grenade launcher. So there is that. But otherwise, you can't use grenades. And as stated, all the different weapons have different gimmicks to them. Like, the smart rifle can lock onto targets. For example, like that, shoot a several round burst. The assault rifle has a grenade launcher. And the submachine gun has like a charge shot ability that does more damage. It's similar to like a grenade. Can I go far enough away that they won't get mad at me? Okay, nice. In fact, let me find a destructible. And we're gonna get into frickin' that in a second. Let me find a destructible. Don't worry, I will address several different elephants in the room. So, also, there's no infinite C4 anymore, like the GE64 from Just Cause 3, that's gone. You only have the 2 weapons and that's it. So if I want to destroy this destructible, I have to shoot it. I could pull it off, but no, that doesn't work. You have to shoot it. At least I'm pretty sure. I haven't figured out a way to destroy this specific type of destructible without, like, explosives. can't really pull it apart. Yeah, so this is what the submachine gun's alternate fire does. Charge shot. That does a whole bunch of extra damage. There are some guns that can... Don't mind me just hanging out. Alright, we're free. Oh, that's a cool innovation. Sometimes there are vehicles that are carrying destructibles. I think that's not bad of an innovation. I'm gonna go blow that up now. In fact, let me use the tank that's down here. Yeah, let me use the tank that's down here, please. You wanna see a big... It frickin' despawned! Ah! I don't... Okay, anyway. Let me go get my automatic shotgun back. So yeah, that's something I like. Nice innovation. Destructibles that are being carried by vehicles now. They aren't just static in a base. That's cool. What was I saying? Right, the freaking weapons. Yeah, so gimmicky enemy types, gimmicky weapons, but Red Faction Guerrilla pulls it off because it's only the weapons and it's not anything silly and weird. Like, for example, before I glitched into the tower, I was going to say there are some guns that can just launch drones to support you with. And what? You see, the rail driver from Red Faction Guerrilla makes sense because it's just a railgun with very high penetration power. And the enemies that use it don't seem gimmicky because there isn't a special enemy type that uses it. It just sometimes is given to higher end enemy types, and you can use it as well. The rail driver does the same thing for you as it does for the enemies. Same with the Gauss rifle. It's got a bit of destructive power. It's got a bit of like ragdoll power. Big, you know, essentially kind of burst damage, essentially. And same thing for it does the same thing for you as it does for the enemies. I like how the vehicles all didn't despawn out here. Oh, a cavalry armored truck spawned here in place of the War Chief assault tank. That's neat. Anyway. So yeah, that's why it doesn't feel gimmicky. But here it feels gimmicky because it doesn't make sense. A gun with a grenade launcher, that makes sense. But a submachine gun that has like this weird charge shot thing, or a lock-on marksman rifle, or a gun that can just freaking deploy drones for you to fight with you, that doesn't make sense. That seems really gimmicky and weird. Yeah, so the weapons... If you are a gun enthusiast, don't play this. If you're a gun enthusiast, you are not going to like this game. Play Just Cause 3 instead. Just Cause 3 is the best, like, weapons sandbox game. And maybe Just Cause 1. I like Just Cause 1 as well, kind of. Just Cause 1 is pretty good balance for it. Anyway, so yeah, there's that. Let's see, what else have I got to talk about? Oh, maybe I should probably address the elephant in the room. Something else that makes me think, how the frick, you morons, how did you I've received a message from Javi, I love you. You are one of my most... Actually, thanks, Javi, for reminding me of something else to talk about before I talk about that.
These have something to do with Otorongo.
No, this is something different.
Thanks, cool. Yep, I'll do that. That's an advertisement for me to start the expansion pack that's up here. Anyway, so... Javi has graciously reminded me to talk about something else that's a bit interesting in this game. Let's go find a settlement. In fact, once again, this all ties together. So, once again, this all ties together. Let's see, yep. Once again, this all ties together, so I'm gonna have to talk about it all at once together. Let me address the elephant in the room. Why are all the destructibles still here in this base? Why are they still here in this base? You know why? Because that system has been reworked and they now don't matter. Challenges, as well, do not matter. There are no challenges, in fact. Let's see. So, this is where everyone says, what the frick, how did they manage to do that? How did they manage to screw it up this bad? And I fully agree. Let's see. So, in Just Cause 2, what do you do to finish the game? You need chaos in order to unlock story missions, unlock side missions, which give you a lot of chaos, and also complete settlements. Very nicely well tied into the game. Destructibles being blown up is not only very fun, but it's also, like, there's a point to it. That's, like, what you do to play the game. Just Cause 3, it's reworked a bit. Chaos now does nothing. It's more of a high score, but that's fine, because now you have to conquer the map by completing all the different settlements in the map, by destroying them. By destroying all the destructibles. Imagine destroying the settlements. Yeah. You have to destroy all the destructibles in the settlements, and then raise the flag if it's a town, and then once you do that to every settlement that's in a province, you get the province. That's what gives you game progression. Conquering and liberating the provinces is what progresses the Civil War, the Medellin Civil War, and allows you to continue the game. It also gives you completion because you 100% all those locations by destroying all the destructibles. But here, it's a little bit different, because you see this destructible. Okay. You see this destructible. Nope. You see this destructible? There it goes. I've just destroyed it and gotten 1,000 chaos. But you will notice on the top left, Prospero Tankis is still at 0%. Because the destructibles now don't do anything anymore. They still give you chaos, so I'll get into how it works in this game, but they are now unrelated to the settlements they're actually a part of. Did I not technically destroy? There it goes, okay. Destructibles, well, they're still around, now don't technically matter for the settlement anymore. Instead, the way it works is that in order to progress the game, you have a frontline mechanic. By the way, the frontline mechanic is also a great idea that I do like, but it was not executed and tied to the game right. Essentially how it works this way is that all these provinces, you control them, and there's a front line around the borders of them, and that front line spawns a whole bunch of Army of Chaos and Black Hand forces that are fighting it out, and they're having an essentially infinite battle until you advance the front line. And the way it works now is that that bar on the top right of my screen, that is the Chaos bar. That is the new Chaos bar. You will notice because I destroyed that, got 1,000 chaos, destroyed the other thing, got 2,500 chaos, and that gave me more chaos to fill that bar. And when you fill that bar, you level up the Army of Chaos and you get more squads, you can see on the top right. It's essentially like a pseudo sort of... It's not real time in any way, it's a pseudo like Hearts of Iron 4 thing, where you need squads to be on the front line to actually fight, and you need a squad, you have a threshold of squads that you need in order to advance to a new territory. Because you need them to cover the front line, that sort of thing. So, when you destroy destructibles... I was wondering what that beeping was. It's this. This is a minefield. Right, those are mines. So, the way it works in this game is that when you destroy destructibles, you get chaos, which allows you to get more squads, which allows you to advance into more provinces, and eventually liberate Solis and finish the game. Which is fine, that's perfectly fine, that's a good idea. The only problem is that once you have enough squads, there is now no reason to get any more chaos. When you have enough squads, chaos is now completely pointless. It essentially, it's now pointless. Plus, since chaos comes from vehicles anyway, destructibles are now, like, pointless. You could theoretically finish the game without destroying a destructible by just getting all your chaos from destroying vehicles, because vehicles still give you chaos. But Just Cause 3 and 2 fixed this problem by the fact that the destructibles gave you chaos for game progression, yes. But they gave it, essentially, it was directly for game progression because they were tied to the settlements. You complete the settlements in Just Cause 2, that gives you completion, and the chaos gives you game progression. And in Just Cause 3, you destroy destructibles, that gives you both game progression because you need to do that to conquer the settlements, and it gives you game completion because that's what you do to complete settlements and finish the game. That all sort of stuff. It's very well nice and neatly tied together. I said nicely, I was trying to combine those things. But in this game, it doesn't do that because destructibles now don't matter. Let's say you're at the end of the game, you've gotten all the chaos you could ever need, you now don't need the destructibles anymore. But if you're at the beginning of the game, they do obviously give more chaos than vehicles, so there is a reason to get rid of them. But they don't matter, it doesn't matter where they are. And that's why they're all still around here, because I did actually blow them up, but they respawn. So, yeah. Let's just say, as a perfect example. So these fuel tanks, if I destroy these fuel tanks, I'm going to get a bit of chaos. By the way, the retraction feature is now automatic of the grappling hook. It's no longer a button. So if I destroy those fuel tanks, I get some chaos. I don't really need the chaos, which means I didn't technically need to do that. But I could have gotten completion for this settlement, right? Wrong. Which is where the challenges come in, because this game does not have challenges anymore. There are no wingsuit challenges, there are no races, there's nothing along those lines. Instead, what you have are these little tiny bits, not even a freaking side activity, little tiny bit of tiny challenges. Essentially, you know, if I wanted to actually complete Prospero Tankis, I would have to... No. If I wanted to complete Prospero Tankis, I don't have to destroy all the destructibles here. What I actually have to do is complete all of these random little stunt challenges. And that ties into Garland King. Right here. Frickin' Garland King. Okay, let's start with the wingsuit one. And I will show you how that works, because it's freaking stupid. I'll also try to make sure I remember everything. But yeah, I think it all ties together. So yeah, this is a new wingsuit challenge. Pass through all 3 of those rings in 15 seconds. I will now do that. That's 2. That's 3. Okay.
Ha! Easy.
Thanks. I've also noticed this down here. They want me
We
to...
need to move the relic in this vehicle.
Oh, this helicopter,
I hear in your
huh?
past life
All right.
you were a driver. Can you do it?
I hear in your past life you were a driver. That's true. Guys, I don't know if this was a great place to spawn this helicopter. Okay, that's fine. I got some chaos though, at least. Here's a side mission to deliver a vehicle. It's fine. So essentially, the way I see it for video games. Don't worry, I'll respond to Prospera. I'll go back to Prospera Tankus after this. So essentially, the way I see it in games is that primary gameplay is whatever you have to do to finish the main quest. Secondary gameplay is whatever you have to do to support finishing the main quest, like the side missions. Like in the case of Just Cause 3, I would consider it the blowing up the stuff. Because as much as it's not technically the main quest or main story or main campaign, it is still required for game progression, but it's still kind of side content. And then there's tertiary stuff, which is like activities and stunts or whatever. Essentially, the new way activities and stunts work, the new way activities in tertiary game, essentially, completing settlements is now tertiary gameplay, which is my freaking problem with it. Oh dear. I can't go that way because of the wind current. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine.
Thank you for bringing it here for me.
Yep. Alright, I broke up the recording. Let's go back to Prospera Tankus now. Anyway. So the way it works now, and I'll talk about this in a bit, you don't completing settlements is now tertiary gameplay. Previously, it was secondary bordering on primary. Now it's tertiary gameplay. That's freaking disgusting. Who the frick thought that? That's stupid. There's a Black Hand PM Fighter. Alright. So, if I wanted to complete Prospera Tankus, I do not destroy all the destructibles there. I'm at about an hour, by the way, so I'll try to be quick and finish this pretty soon. So if I want to do that, I have to do essentially what I just did. I have to complete all the wingsuit challenges, and I have to complete all of the stunts. Essentially, the lore justification now is that you have 3 different people that you do work for. First of all, there is Sargento right here. And that's a good idea. He's like an intelligence officer. Help keep the army running by training recruits and prevent enemy sabotage. That's a good idea, having an intelligence officer doing intelligence-related side missions. But they're all kind of repetitive, and they all kind of do the same thing. So that's a con there. Some of the missions are unique, but a lot of them are really just copies of each other that take place in different places. Which is a bit unfortunate. That's on the road outside, so I'll do this one. This is essentially, I just have to go through there at faster than 95 kilometers an hour. So I'll try that with this cavalry armored truck, because it probably goes fast. Oh, frick, I gotta talk about the armored cows, too. And the radio. Frick me, there's so much left to talk about still. Anyway, there's 95. Alright, we did that.
I am good.
I just did a frickin'... That was activity, that was tertiary content. I got into a car and I drove it forward like 2 feet. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Where did you screw this up, guys? Come on. Okay, that was 120, and that's on a ring down there. So that means I would need a sports car, probably from the road or something. Is that a Falconer A-Tank? Oh, it is. Nice. Hi, Falconer A-Tank. How you doing? Can I get a vehicle that's decently fast? No. I have bonked my head. Don't worry, that was by design. Let's go get a totally not Stria Joya now. That's one thing. Oh, brick. There we go. That's one thing I'm not a huge fan of. The fact that there's some things returning from Just Cause 3 that are renamed. This is completely a Stria Joya, but it's now called a Cumbila Sedan.
What are you doing?
Oh, that's this someone in the back.
I'm getting the hell out
Alright, see ya.
of here.
Anyway. Hi, Falconer again. How you doing? Anyway. That's not a huge thing that I like very much. Be on the pavement to get the top speed I need. Oh dear, probably not gonna make it. Okay, yeah, that's not climbing. That's not climbing fast enough. Not gonna make it at all. Nope. Need something faster. That just exploded. Cool. Can I get something faster? Maybe this'll work. Nice. Need to borrow this. Thanks. So yeah, this is to complete a settlement. Friendly reminder. Okay. I've just completed the settlement.
I am good.
Oh, I got heat for that. Frick you. Frick you.
We could have something here.
No, you don't. You don't have anything here. Shut up. Okay, so I just completed Prospera Tankus. I just completed a settlement by getting a car, driving it to a certain place fast enough, driving another one like 5 feet, and then wingsuiting slightly. Do you see the problem here? So that's a bit of an issue. Can I not have heat anymore? There we go. Yeah, that was an example just now of what I said earlier, of the fact that, like, sometimes you escape heat and then are immediately in view, and that implies to me that the actual search radius is lower. Like, the sight radius of enemies while you're being searched for is lower than the actual sight radius of enemies when you don't have heat. So that was interesting. Anyway. So yeah, let's talk about some of the characters and some of the other stuff now. I broke up the recording again. Let me try to be quick about this as well. In fact, let me just pause in the main menu. In fact, let me go here. Let's go in the menu. Let's see if that manages... Alright, I still have the airport waypoint. Let's see if I can manage to do that and try to talk about this quickly because I am just over the hour mark. So first of all, one thing I like about this game, kind of, well, as stated before, how the frick did we lose... Well, as stated before, how the frick did we lose our way? Destructibles don't mean anything anymore, as explained. There are also essentially no side activities anymore. There's no challenges, there's no races, there's nothing. Instead, you just have to do that stuff. In all fairness, Sargento does give you side missions to do stuff and unlock certain things and, quote, that was my Discord, train recruits. But the problem is a lot of those side missions are repetitive. And speaking of side missions that are repetitive, we'll get into that as well. Frick, I feel so backed up. Anyway. So that's some of the side content there. The other side content is Garland King. Oh boy, where do I start with Garland King? So, essentially, the lore justification now for doing all that stuff is that you're recording stunts, being a stunt person for Garland King's movie. She's a movie director. So, that's an interesting idea. The only problem is, I want to tell you a story now. I would like to tell you a story of me playing this game. So the way the main story works is that you start over here, and then you have 3 different things to do. This all ties in, once again, everything ties in everything else. Where do we even start? Where do I even put my thoughts together? Ah, frick me, what a hard video to make. Anyway, so, I will put it this way. This game, clearly, you can tell, kind of probably had like a different director or something than Just Cause 3, and they told them, make it a little bit more like GTA. Now I hear Adar, I hear your heart sinking. And don't worry, it's not as bad as you think, but it's there, and that's a problem. For example... Oh, wow, that's a chug. Okay. For example, Just Cause 3 very much stands on its own. You blow stuff up. It's a civil war. That's great. But let me tell you a story. I had a Watch Dogs 2 moment in this game where I was playing it, and I thought, that doesn't belong here in this kind of game. And one of the reasons and ways that I had that was with the mission where you meet Garland King. Because Garland King is a very eccentric... quite frankly insane as well, movie director, movie person. There's also a character that is a conspiracy theorist who believes in aliens and UFOs and aliens and crap, tinfoil hat, the whole thing. And in fairness, I will say, something that makes it a little bit easier to bear is that Rico himself thinks Garland is full of crap just as much as I do, so that helps a little bit, but there's that. There's also the fact that, as you saw earlier, in fact, let me find a vehicle so I can show you. Something else, and yes, so there's a couple things in this game that make it feel like they were trying to be a little bit more, let's go with the word trendy. Let's see what this truck has. No. Oh, look at that. There's now a radio. And I mean, if you like music, then cool, vehicles have a radio now. But I honestly, this tank just don't those guys. I'm gonna be honest though, I kind of get the feeling that putting a radio in the vehicles is a little bit of, what if we make the game slightly more like GTA? Or Saints Row or whatever. More like conventional open world games. Rather than keep the Just Cause identity, what if we keep that to maybe 90% and then throw in some stuff that might be more mainstream? That's a good way of putting it. Sometimes there are a couple things in this game that I feel like they wanted to make it a little more mainstream. Essentially, things like the radios in vehicles, the characters that are really satirical and silly, like more so than for this game. Like unfittingly so, I should say. Like a movie director that's eccentric and nuts sounds like the kind of person that you would meet and do missions for in GTA 5. I'm talking more like the satire of Tom Sheldon, because Tom Sheldon himself he's a great character, but he's also a little bit satirical. And in fact, that's a great example of how to do that sort of thing well, because Tom Sheldon is a great character who stands on his own. I really like him. And he's in this game, by the way, fun fact. Yeah, he's in the game. And, but he's good. He's kind of a slight satire to, like, American foreign policy, that sort of thing. There is Just Cause, there's, like, the fact that in Just Cause 3 he's, like, a huge sleaze. That sort of thing. But he stands on his own and it's great. But then you turn around and you have a character who believes in an alien invasion, believes in a conspiracy theory that the main villain who leads Solis is actually a, quote, reptilian. That doesn't seem right. That doesn't fit here. That maybe, hey, Garland, you missed GTA 5. Essentially, Garland showed up to be featured in a Just Cause game about 5 years too late and decided to go with Just Cause 4 instead of GTA 5, so that's a bit of a problem there. So, yeah, that's something about this game that I have concerns with. It feels like they want to kind of try to make it a little bit more mainstream. And that's kind of bad. That's kind of a big bad of the game, yeah. The story's pretty good, though. That's something that's related, though. I will say the story's alright. There is a problem with the story, though. Essentially, the story is you start around here, you do a couple things, and then it becomes you have to destroy the enemy weather cores. There's one there, one there, and then one there. And then also technically one in Iapa. And that's the end of the game. The only problem I have is that you have to collect a whole bunch of stuff in order to execute the operation to attack those places. But they're often called heists. In fact, the side mission for this base is called Tanks Heist. And I feel like just the word heist is not necessarily something you would expect to have in your Just Cause game. Maybe once or twice while working with Annika in Just Cause 3, I think, because she was a mercenary. That was kind of her thing. But, guys, zip. I fricked it completely because I'm looking to the left. Cool. Don't mind me, just, you know, yep. So, that's a problem that a lot of them, they're kind of like, honestly, let me put it this way. The main storyline is set up to be like a series of GTA 5 heists. Because, as stated before, you know, let's say Just Cause 3 has like 20 missions. You all do something different. There's regional liberation missions, that sort of thing. You blow up stuff, whatever, blah. This game, there's around that same number. Roughly, I don't know how many there are, actually. But, like, in order to complete the arc to get rid of this, to take that, you have to free someone from a prison, and then work with him to prepare for the attack on that facility by doing a couple missions in order to get the materials and equipment necessary. Boat stunt. Oh, that's just the stunt they want me to do down there. Okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. So that's one thing that sets off a red flag in my brain of we want to be slightly more mainstream. People like heists. Let's frame our military operations as heists. So there's that. That's a problem. I broke up the recording. I'm also going to take a sip of water. What's my time? Not looking pretty good. We're at like an hour and a half now. So, you know, 90 minutes. This is a full-length movie of me rambling about Just Cause 4, and I'm still not done yet. We've been here for so long that my water that I had when I started the video is now getting warm. Anyway. So yeah, there's that. That stuff. These are essentially all the side activities. You have Sargento, which gives you a bunch of side missions that can be repetitive, but a couple of them are unique. Garland, which is... we don't talk about Garland. And then Javi. And this one, by the way, is nice. I do like this. So Just Cause 1, 2, and 3 always had, like, a semblance, a basic... you know, just a basic thrown-in idea of the history of the country you were in. Medici had Roman ruins, and through that, you essentially get the visual storytelling of, oh, Medici must have been controlled by the Roman Empire, and now it's Medici. I don't know. But then this one, you have the entire character of Javi, and he's an archaeologist. And in fact, you also have temples, like this one. This is a temple. This is the other temple where you meet Javi, actually. And there's a story about Otorongo, who was the previous king of the ancient civilization that ruled on Solis, but he was deposed by Espinosa. And then it's a mystery. It's a mystery because history says that Otorongo was an evil warmongering jerk and that Espinosa liberated the world from him. But you work with Javi to essentially discover what actually happened, because it probably wasn't that. And that's honestly something I really like. That's a pretty great pro, because not only does it give you the option to use the grappling hook in like a Tomb Raider context, sort of a thing, and there is stuff like that, which gives you an excuse to use the grappling hook in an alternate way rather than just like for combat and destruction and whatnot. You know, that's great. It also fleshes out the world and the lore of the universe. Plus, I think it's really good to serve as downtime because, you know, Just Cause is great, but if it was constantly blowing stuff up all the time, people would get sick of it and it would be way too fast-paced. And that's why you have moments of this downtime, which is wingsuiting, but this is like just travel necessity, that sort of thing. But I like that because that means you would have moments of playing Just Cause 4 in a more relaxing, peaceful way. I did actually enjoy that whole part of the game, doing essentially the archaeology missions to eventually reach the final secret mission to unlock the secrets of the ancient Solis history. Of the ancient people of Solis. That's great. That's a pro. I like that. That's pretty good. But, you know what? There's no buts. That one's just good. I'm just gonna say that's a good addition. Javi is a good addition. Garland King is not. Frick her. She's bad. She missed out on, like, the premiere of GTA 5 and decided to wait 5 years and be in this game instead. So, let's see. Now that all that's done, freaking talk about the weapons. What else? Let's go with the... I know. In fact, it's the reason why I'm going here again. So, there is one thing as well. Well, let's talk about... freaking so many things. Frick. Okay, what's my time? Not great. We're not looking too good there. But I think we're just about good. Alright, we're good. Also, that was my Discord. Anyway, so I think if I'm not mistaken, the last couple things I want to talk about and converse about. In fact, I'll probably just find one over here. In fact, yeah, here's one. Here's an Army of Chaos vehicle. So I said this in the Mega Rant, but I'll say it again. The Army of Chaos is freaking stupid. Look at them. It's stupid. They are stupid. I don't like them. I like their characters. I should mention the characters are good. Not the alien conspiracy theorist guy. Not him. But the characters are good. That's one thing I like. I like the characters and I like the story of this game. I like, you know, they reinvent Rico every single Just Cause entry. I like this Rico of being a little bit more gruff, a little bit more emotional, just a bit. As in, like, you know, Just Cause 3, he was more of like the silly, hey, I'm gonna go over there and blow up some stuff now. Ha, let's do it. Just Cause 2, he was like the sly action hero, sort of. Just Cause 1, he was similarly like the sly action hero. Just Cause 3, he was, but with like a casual twist of, ha, I'm in combat all the time. You know, that sort of thing. And there's elements of that here. Definitely elements of that here. But there's also the kicker of like the personal story of him working with characters in the Army of Chaos that have had their family broken up by the war, and also he himself. There's some stuff going on with his dad. I won't spoil it, that sort of thing. You know, that's good. That's good. The story's good. But the one thing I don't like, though, is the Army of Chaos itself. Because the Army of Chaos is, let's go over here, is freaking stupid. So, what did I tell you, all of you, my viewers, provided you watch the Mega Rant, to look out for in the Mega Rant? Hold on a second. Hang on a second. Let me call in the tank, because why not? Yeah, let me just call in the ward. In fact, frick, I'm next to... Nah, I'll do it here. Save time. Because, definitely gonna need that. Anyway.
Supplies ordered confirmed. Look out
I'm
below.
gonna need a tank now, please. And thank you. So, what did I tell everyone to be wary about, and what did I warn you about in the Mega Rant video? What did I warn you about? What did I warn you about, guys? What did I warn you about? I warned you about that. I warned you about that. Magenta, yellow, light blue. Frick. Ooh, here's a destructible. Here's a destructible. It's on a vehicle. You know what? Why not? I blew it up. Random thing that you just saw. Another thing that proves that I feel like this... Oh, is that an enemy tank? Yep. Another thing. Just random thing since you just saw it. Destructibles are kind of tough. Like, I get the sense that they wanted to make the game more challenging, and one of the many ways they did that, I've explained all the different ones, but one of the many ways they did that is, like, I think I just missed and hit an Army of Chaos person. That's fine. Frick them anyway. Yeah, frick the Army of Chaos anyway. I'll blow that up and go. Alright, I'm gonna get out of here now.
Yeah.
One way that I feel like that's true is that the Destructibles are also very sturdy now. Like, in Just Cause 3, a tank shell can destroy a fuel tank or a Destructible in pretty much one shot. You're all set there. But there you just saw it takes 2 shots. They're now tankier, which is interesting. Another example of them being challenging. But, also, since I got sidetracked by blowing that up, I should make sure I go back to that tank so I can resume what I was talking about. So what did I warn you all about? What did I warn you all about, my viewers, in the Mega Ran video? I warned you to watch for the magenta, yellow, and light blue color scheme. Has the tank despawned? Of course it did. Well, that's fine. We can just go to Prospera Tank is back here. So what did I warn you about? I warned you to look out for the color scheme of magenta, yellow, and light blue, and sometimes lime green instead of light blue. And what do you see up here on the top left, next to supply drop? That looks like a bright green, a yellow, and a purple. That's a little bit strange, isn't it? And what do you see on the tank? Haragon is undergoing an inspection. All right, this is the excuse for how this works. This is essentially the Rebel drop system now. I like this system. I think it's a pretty good system. You essentially just have all these for free, and they're on a cooldown. It's a lot better than beacons because you can just get them all whenever you want. And as long as you don't use all of them within like 5 minutes, then you're fine. It's essentially infinite, but you can't use it too fast. But you can use it fast enough. You usually don't need to use it that fast.
A rival of mine that likes
that's
to
a
perpetuate the Espinosa's
side mission to
false
blow up an
narrative
enemy
is in a
vehicle, so I'll go
near
do
you.
that.
Can you take
this
it
tank.
out?
Yes, of course, Heavy. I can do that. But while we're doing that, so I don't get sidetracked again, what do you notice wrong about this tank? Magenta, yellow, and light blue. Because this game, I will say, usually the entire game is set up to have the magenta, yellow, and light blue. This one is not. This one, the cover art does not have the magenta, yellow, light blue. It's only relegated to the Army of Chaos vehicles. But it still is, and what the frick, why, how would you possibly, why did you do that? Genuinely, this is a question for anyone watching. If they like this sort of thing, if they like to have their faction's vehicles all plastered with graffiti to the point where they look like the inside of an abandoned tunnel, why? Why? Why do you want this tank to have 3 eyes on the back of it? Or, like, flower eyes and frickin' crap and whatever the frick all this stuff is. Why? I don't get it. Why do you want a pink skull on the left? It's... why? What started this trend of, like, the bad guys look realistic with the fricking... The bad guys look realistic with the proper, you know, dark gray color scheme with some red. Also, hey, pal, frick you.
That vehicle is history.
Nice. Got him. So, also I didn't get heat. Let's go. Nice. Yeah, genuinely. Real actual question here. In fact, I should go to Prospera Tankus. So, yeah, I should go there for a better way, because it has both the War Chief assault tanks there, so I can go there in order to compare them both. But yeah, while I'm going there, what actually freaking ticks in people's heads that make them want, like, the graffiti thing? What is this trend? I don't get it. Like I said, I claimed in the Mega Rant that the reason companies were doing it was to look flashy and whatnot. Was to look flashy and catch your eye, but that can't possibly be true here. Because otherwise it would be the entire game would be set up like that. But the Black Hand isn't. The Black Hand is normal and realistic, and they have the good, proper, serious color scheme. In fact, you can see it on the trains right over here. They have the proper, serious color scheme of dark gray with some red. Their color scheme is good, and, you know, it's good. They have their own presence. They have their own good presence. We are back at Prospera Tankus. They have their own good, proper presence, and the Army of Chaos is just a mishmash of freaking dumb colors. And here we are right over here at the tanks, right over here. Here we go. So, the Black Hand have this color scheme. It's very good. It's very proper. It's very, stern. Let's go with that. Stern color scheme, good color scheme, realistic color scheme. And then you have this. Why? 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 I don't get it. Why do you have to make your freaking gas cans bright yellow? In fact, I've seen them pink before. So, obviously they can be random colors. Yeah, this one is green. Why does it have to be like that? Why do you paint your rims green on your cars? Why do you do this? This is an actual question because I don't get it. Like, why do people like that? Why is this a trend? Why do people do that? Is there someone out there, are there people out there that like that sort of thing? Because what the frick? No, stop it, get out of here. But the big but to it all is that at least it's only confined to the Army of Chaos, at the very least. That's nice. That's alright. At the very least, the rest of the game definitely takes itself seriously, even though the Army of Chaos kind of doesn't. And just the name Army of Chaos as well is kind of stupid. I mentioned it in the Mega Rant video, I'll say it again. Essentially, you're having an element of the game break... airship. Essentially having an element of the game break immersion by having it reference the gameplay. Because everyone always mentions about how Rico's blowing stuff up and all, but they don't mention how he's gaining chaos. They mention chaos as the real-life abstract concept of destabilization rather than chaos, the numerical value. So it doesn't break immersion. But I feel like calling them the Army of Chaos breaks immersion in that regard. And that's freaking stupid. And the graffiti also breaks immersion. Because just to compare it, the Rebellion was good. I actually really like the way the Rebellion does it, because the Rebellion vehicles are realistic in the sense that they are actually spray painted dark blue and yellow, because that's not the main big three colors, because there's no purple. The reason it's only those two is because those are the national colors of the Medicean Republic. So it's a signifier. That has in fact happened in real life wars, in fact. In the Spanish Civil War, the red bars and the white main bar, I don't know what you would call it, essentially the tricolor, but the middle stripe is larger flag of the nationalists was painted around the turrets of nationalist Spanish vehicles in order to more easily tell them apart from Republican vehicles, because they used the same exact types of vehicles, like Soviet T-26s, I think. Yeah, Soviet T-26s, or like German Panzer Is or something, or Soviet BT-7s, that sort of thing. Anyway, here's a town, we'll get into that. But first, yeah, here's all the mods as well. Let's see, what else have I got? Hang on, give me a second. Alright, I remember. So, there are two more things, because I honestly made a list in the first, I think in the first attempt to make this video, I think in the first attempt to make this video, I made a list of stuff I wanted to talk about, because as I said in the beginning, or I don't even know if I said that in the beginning, it might have been in a previous take, but either way, I wasn't confident in my ability to recall all the stuff I wanted to talk about, so I made a list of it, and I remember now. So, there is one thing that's an extremely bad, oh, frick. Yeah, I remember what it was. It was the story that I talked about in the second take, but not this take. And so I will talk about it now. I had a moment in this game where it was once again another Watch Dogs 2 moment, but it was a different Watch Dogs 2 moment. I was attacking, let's see, I believe I was attacking, there's all the missions, by the way. Nice. I believe I was attacking this military base down here. And I reached a point where I was only focused on the side mission there, because the way this game works is that the main story is only the operations, pretty much, to take all this stuff. There's a couple extra things thrown in, but mostly just that, to take the different weather bases, and then Project the Yappa. But how do you have more gameplay, essentially? How do you take provinces? Because you may be thinking, earlier, you advance into provinces through the front line mechanic, but how do you actually do that if you don't actually take the bases? If you don't actually conquer the bases? If you don't actually, cause chaos in them? Well, that's because each base now has an associated side mission to it. This base, for example, you have to free the prisoners, essentially like Mechland Assault, except once you free them, you have to escort them out of the base. Except the mission you do here is the exact same as the one you have to do here, and the one that you have to do here. That's it. You may be seeing where I'm going with this. In order to take this province, you have to complete the minor side mission at this base to fire off all its missiles. The lore is that you can't advance to the base until you fire off all the missiles that are stationed there so that they can't be shot off against the Army of Chaos. So you go there, you hack all that stuff. It's sort of honestly a way... the mission design is kind of really not as good as well. Because the mission design could be, you hack something, you fire off the missiles yourself, maybe shoot them at the destructibles, that'd be cool. That sort of thing. No, the reality is you just hack a bunch of stuff to make the missile tubes raise, something like that, and then you have to escort a hacker to hack all the stuff and then defend him. It's an escort mission. Okay, well, I only have to do it once, right? Wrong. You have to do the same thing here, And the same thing up here. That's a problem. You see this port? There's a side mission where the Black Hand is trying to blow up the port because they've abandoned it and they've put a bunch of rigged bomb vehicles there, reminiscent of the Bavarian bomb vehicles from Just Cause 3, and you have to get 10 of them into the water before they explode, otherwise you lose within a time limit. Okay, that's a cool idea and prospect for a mission. You have to do the same thing over here, and you have to do the same thing over here. Right? It's here? Or is it here? No, it's here. So that is one thing that they completely fricked it. How are you stupid enough to do something like that? Every base has a side mission. So returning to the story that I was about to tell, I was doing the mission, I believe, at this base, and because of all the reasons I previously mentioned, I was at a point where I was just doing the side mission. That's it. I was only focusing on the objective of the side mission. I was ignoring most of the enemies. I was ignoring most of the enemies. I was walking past them, only really getting rid of the ones that were really threatening, and I was ignoring all the destructibles. And then I realized that I had this story. I realized that I was just doing a generic side mission. It was reminiscent of, well, other games. Other games where you're doing like a dumb, grindy side mission. It was a little tiny bit grindy. I was doing it. It's not grindy, though. I mean, it can feel it a little bit, but thankfully it's only like 3 of the same mission per base. So it's not terrible. Like, it's bordering on grindy. But the point is, I was focusing on only the mission. I was ignoring all the enemies, and I was ignoring all the destructibles. That was my Discord. And I realized, wait a minute, I'm ignoring all the destructibles because I don't need to blow them up for any reason. There's no reason to blow them up. Like, as stated before, the fuel tanks in Prospera Tankers have no difference to the fuel tanks here. If you blow them up, you get the same amount of chaos. There's no difference. There's no relevance to where you blow them up. There's no relevance to which ones you blow up. So with that in mind, I went here, and I wasn't blowing up any of the destructibles because I had enough chaos already. I had enough squads, and I realized it was completely pointless to do so. And I wasn't fighting the enemies because, as demonstrated earlier with all the smart rifles and crap I got, it's ammo inefficient to fight the enemies. So I was at a point where I was ignoring the enemies because it's a net loss to fight them. It's usually a net loss to fight them because of how hard the ammo is to get. And I was ignoring the destructibles. And instead, all I was doing was just a generic side mission where I escort a hacker to 3 different consoles and then defend him. And that's when I knew that something was seriously wrong with this game. And that's pretty bad. And that is a pretty bad thing. And something else as well that's seriously wrong with this game that I was flying over here to mention, over to this Oasis town over that way, I believe, is that this is one of the biggest kickers, one of the biggest how did you screw it up that badly moments that you're going to have. This is a town. This is a town. Oh, and by the way, you don't have all of these settlements unlocked at the start. You can't see them at the start when you first play. You have to discover them in the same vein of like Fallout or the Elder Scrolls. But that makes sense. I'll give them that, because otherwise you would be able to see where all of the tombs are. Whereas you would be able to see where all of the tombs are immediately. And some of them are hidden, and they're supposed to be hidden, so that makes sense that you shouldn't be able to just see where they are wherever you want. You shouldn't be able to just see where they are as soon as you start the game. But, yeah, this is a town. You may notice something about this town. There's no destructibles around here. It's completed, because I think there was a wingsuit challenger to... What the frick is this that I... My Discord? What the frick is this that I just spotted? Is it... Can I drive this?
Off we go.
This buggy... This is untitled. This vehicle is untitled. Alright. Okay. Sure. Alright, neat. I guess I found a unique version of the buggy. That might be from the racing DLC, because the expansion that this starts... Because this... My fricking... You guys are not going to believe this. Well, my nose is bleeding because I have been talking so hard. I felt my nose get a little bit wet I've actually stressed myself out to the point that my nose has started bleeding. Okay, that's freaking great. Okay, maybe I shouldn't laugh. Maybe I shouldn't tense up my head. Alright. Okay. Alright, we're good. I got a tissue box right here. Okay. That is actually really funny. That's how much I am disappointed by this game. Because I'm disappointed by this game. I'll talk about that in a second, but maybe I should wrap this up so I can make sure the nosebleed is taken care of. Very minor nosebleed. I think there's just too much blood rushing around my head because I've been talking so hard for so long. And also talking very intensely, very hard for so long. Anyway, it's going to be kind of hard to play the game while there's a tissue in my face. Okay, how does this sound? Because my clever plan is that I'm going to pull, like, my shirt up over the tissue so that it holds it in place so I can still use both my hands in order to play the game. How's that? Good idea? Maybe. I don't know how well this is going to work, but okay. Alright, that seems good. That seems kind of just about good. Alright, there's a tissue under my nose in case it bleeds. Alright, I think we're good. Just about. Alright, we're good. Okay, we're just about good. That should be good. Alright. Anyway, I will now wrap this up very quickly. Maybe that buggy is from the racing DLC, because I know that DLC is about racing. Anyway, that was my Discord. So, the reason... My Discord again. So, the big kicker... Still my Discord. So, the big kicker and the big thing that I want to talk about, that's the biggest we fricked it moment of this entire game. This town, my Discord, doesn't have any destructibles in it, but it's completed because I did all the stunts and whatnot in it. So, with towns not having, essentially, Just Cause 2, towns have Propaganda Jet Crash over there. Towns in Just Cause 2 have a reason to go there because they have destructibles and unique types of them, like the statues and whatnot. Just Cause 3, you need to liberate them. It takes on a completely different form from taking the bases. You need to liberate them in order to finish the game. But in this game, towns are now completely pointless, just like the destructibles. Because there are no destructibles in them. I mean, maybe occasionally you might find the odd broadcast tower or transformer group or something like that. But a lot of towns, including this one, don't have any destructibles in them. So, unless you're going for the tertiary gameplay of doing all the stunts, still my Discord, frick. Unless you're going for the tertiary gameplay of doing all the stunts, then there is now no reason to go to any towns. But it gets worse. It gets worse because the worst thing of it all of that I just said, that's not even the worst thing, because look what's on my screen right now. There is still a statue in the game. There's a statue in the game in the same vein of the statues, and look, it's destructible as well. Just like that, hang on. This will work eventually, I promise. Nope. Come on. There it goes, there it goes. So, the biggest, largest thing... Hey, it's Tom Sheldon.
No, not over an open channel.
The Black Hand can't.
No, not them. Meet me at Costa Consuelo.
That is the advertisement for the Danger Rising DLC down here, and I don't know what that's about. Cool to have a Tom Sheldon cameo in this video, because, yeah, as stated before, he's in this game. Nice to see. Anyway, so, the biggest kicker of this entire game is that, as stated before... that happens every once in a while. I think my plug got kicked or something, and my keyboard and mouse lost input for a second. I couldn't move it. Oh, yeah, we're good. Okay, we're good. We're good. It's fine. We're good. So, I talked about everything. I talked about the challenges. I talked about all the different side content. Still my Discord. I talked about the Black Hand, Army of Chaos. I talked about pretty much everything. Talked about the story. Talked about how Garland King is stupid. Talked about the weapons. Talked about the challenges. Talked about the challenge. Talked about the gimmicky enemy types. Talked about the vehicles. You can see why this is a very hard, very long video to make, huh? And on that note, I'm actually rapidly approaching the 2-hour mark, so I should probably call it a day here. To top things off, towns are pointless. What the frick? Where did you lose your way? And you still bothered to put in a statue and program it to be destructible. But you couldn't give it some red accents and make it be worth some chaos. So at the very least, there could have been at least one thing left of the previous taking towns gameplay. Wow. That's pretty bad. My Discord. And, I'm trying to be a bit less, I'm trying to be a bit lower energy, because again, my nose is bleeding. My nose is outright bleeding. For those that don't know, fun fact, your nose can actually rarely, sometimes, very rarely, this never happened to me before, it's only happened like a couple times starting the last couple years. Your nose can just randomly start bleeding because of like stress or being too intense or something like that. In this case, I think way too much blood was flowing to my head as a result of me talking with so much intensity for so long. And friendly reminder, I did this same exact thing like 2 more times for 2 hours straight the past couple days, and those were failed takes that didn't work. So I guess my body is complaining about this. I guess my body is now complaining about me doing this. But with all that in mind, I think I'll go ahead and give it a, I think I'll go ahead and call it a day. So that's Just Cause 4. Those are all my thoughts on Just Cause 4 in painstakingly long detail. Quite literally, because again, nosebleed. Those are all my thoughts on Just Cause 4. This game is, the epitome of mixed. It has some things I really like. It does, I'll say in fairness, it does have a couple things that I really like. Having the Army of Chaos vehicles spawn as a direct result of heat, so heat becomes more of a fun game state to play in rather than a nuisance or a problem. That's a great addition. That's so good, that's so genius in my opinion, that it actually means that Just Cause 4 has at least one thing about it that it does better than any open world game, period, let alone any Just Cause game. But also, the lack of challenges. I'm not even a challenge sort of a guy. I'm not even a do the races kind of a guy in open world games. But the lack of races and challenges is stupid. The lack of destructibles being tied to the game well enough is stupid, because it would be perfectly fine if, say, in order to advance into a province, you had to do the side mission in a base and destroy all the destructibles in the base, and the destructibles were part of the completion of the base in addition to the stunts and crap. That would have been fine. I just... Nice. That guy said hello. That would have fixed the whole thing. That would have fixed the entire thing if you had to complete every settlement in order to advance into that province, and destructibles were part of the settlement completion to do that. That would have been fine. Not counting tombs, because they're supposed to be hidden. So you don't count tombs in that, but you have to destroy all the destructibles in order to advance into a... destroy all the destructibles in order to complete settlements, in addition to what they already have, and then destroy... and then complete all the settlements that way, and then, as a result, you will be able to get into settlements. You will be able to advance into the provinces. That would have been fine. That would have been fantastic. Let's watch this tank battle. Let's watch this tank battle. See how it works. Let's see. They both hit each other once. That's twice. They're now both very low. They've hit each other again. I don't think the gameplay stuff... Oh, I think the Falconer's almost gone. Yeah, see, it's on fire. But so is that, maybe? Oh, the Falconer's down. I don't necessarily know if this sort of gameplay stuff applies to NPCs as much as it does the player. But yeah, all that stuff as mentioned would have fixed it just instantly would have fixed it. If you have to complete every settlement by destroying all the destructibles in every settlement, and you have to complete settlements in order to advance into those positions, or at least there was like a control bar, like the stunts and stuff were tied to settlement completion, but it's only like the secondary settlement completion, and the primary was how much control the Black Hand have. So theoretically, if you want to advance into, say, this area down here, you would have to complete this settlement by destroying all the stuff there and doing the side mission. That would mean the Black Hand would abandon it, but you would still have this stuff of, like, aftermarket, I guess, completion. You do the same thing here, maybe just... Actually, that's like a natural feature. That's a new thing this game has, is natural feature locations. That's the peninsula, not a settlement. Down here, blow up all the stuff, free it, blow up all the stuff there, blow up the stuff there, and then you can take this area. That would have fixed it in one fell swoop. And you do the same thing for towns. You add statues like the one I just blew up here as actual destructibles. and then you have to destroy them in order to take the towns, as well as destroy, like, whatever else. Like, maybe towns could have commanders in them the same way that I believe there are DRM captains in Just Cause 3. I don't know, it's been a while since I played Just Cause 3. That would have fixed it all. But they didn't. And, that means that this game, as a result, is one of the most largest freaking mixed bags I've ever seen in my entire life. And that is incredibly bad and disappointing. And overall, I think that's what I'll call Just Cause 3. 3? I mean 4. That's what I'll call Just Cause 4. You know, overall, review my thoughts on Just Cause 4. That's the title of the video. I would say that my thoughts on this game, in a word, disappointing. I will say, I think I like this game and I give it more credit than other people do. Like, I think I like this game more than most people do. I think a lot of people hate this game and they think it's like the worst Just Cause game and whatever. It's terrible, it's disgusting, it's sacrilege. No, a lot of the Just Cause 3 core gameplay is still there. You can still, you know, blow up destructibles and stuff and that sort of thing. You still got the wingsuit and everything there, and, you know, there are cases where they tried to improve it and make it better, like with the wingsuit now having the challenge and obstacles of weather, or you know, the fact that it's a frontline mechanic, or the fact that, you know, there's all that stuff. You know, the fact that there's like a frontline mechanic, or the fact that there's essentially... It escapes me, my bad. The fact that the Black Hand are now the villains, the fact that there's a frontline mechanic, oh yeah, and the fact that the heat level is now much more crazy and chaotic with more vehicles. That sort of stuff is all pretty good. That sort of stuff is all good. I do like that. And all the core gameplay is here. I don't think this game is terrible. It's still good. It's still got that Just Cause 3 core gameplay to it. It's just not tied into the game well. And a lot of it is just not done well. It's just, they kind of fricked it. They had some good ideas, some really stupid ones. They wanted to change up Just Cause 3, and they definitely did, for better or for worse. So overall, my thoughts on Just Cause 4 is Sniper Assassination. Yeah, this is a new thing. You just go up there. You know what, I'll do it. Why not? Last thing to do before I go.
We got a location on an undercover Black Hand operative. Head to a nearby vantage point if you want to help take care of them.
I'm at the spot. What's next?
I now have to
We've got
assassinate
intel on
3
more
different
than
people,
one target. Get rid
including
of them,
him.
but stay off
He
the
is dead.
streets. You know, covert ops.
You have to stay on rooftops, though, as stated. I like how this guy spawned across a building. That's a bit disappointing. Can I hit him? There's no chance I hit this shot right. Never mind, I got it. What about you? No chance I hit this shot right. Nope. Nope.
All
There we
your
go, got
bad
it.
guys are down, Sargento.
Nice.
Continue to be the man, Rico.
Thanks. Anyway, so overall, I broke up the recording. So overall, as we look out over this oasis, this is why I came here specifically, because I like this town. It's scenic and nice looking, and it's fun that the statue is in the middle of the oasis. But with all that in mind, with my head now starting to feel a little bit sensitive, because I'm just hyper aware of the fact that I'm now unwell because my nose is bleeding. I don't think anything's actually wrong. I think I'm just more aware of how my head feels than I normally would be. With all that in mind, closing out this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to see you next time. Hope to see you in the next time. Yeah, I do hope to see you in the next time, the next era as well. Hope to see you in the next one, but what I hope more is for each and every one of you to have the best day, morning, evening, night, or afternoon that you possibly can. And overall, my thoughts on Just Cause 4. I would give it a solid 7 out of 10, and that's being generous because it really deserves a 6 out of 10, honestly. If we establish Just Cause 3 as the standard of quality, we say Just Cause 3 is the 10 out of 10 to compare this to, definitely, I would say, I personally would give it a 7 out of 10 because of all the things stated over the past 2 hours. Personally, my personal score would be 7 out of 10, but I think the objective overall score is probably like 6 out of 10, I would say. So that's Just Cause 4. Video that I really should have made like several years ago. but it's finally done now. With all that in mind, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry to waste 2 hours of your time and also literally give me a literally screw with myself physically. Give me a nosebleed. I'm gonna go nurse that now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go take care of my nosebleed now, and I will see you in the next one.